This is a win for Georgia and, of course, the country. If you could outline what's coming.
That's right. The EV revolution is demonstrating across Georgia the job creating potential of making sure America and not some other country is leading this new automotive revolution. But one of the big issues that is going to affect whether EVs are adopted and available to everybody is charging. So we're funding charging, including this announcement that $6 million will be headed to Atlanta to create up to 100 new charging ports so that people can get that charge when they need them. If you're lucky enough to have a single family home with a garage, you already have charging infrastructure. You can use a regular wall plug if you have to. But if you're in a multifamily dwelling or if you're driving a lot during the day and your range is running down, you got to be able to find a place to charge. And that's what this community vision is about. A number of level 2 chargers that are going to just take down one of those obstacles that stands between some people and being able to take advantage of the savings and the benefits that come with having an EV.
When you look at the rollout of this kind of program, can we expect as consumers to see sort of their own charging stations the way we think of a traditional gas station? Might they be integrated into traditional gas stations or something altogether different?
I think it is pretty different. In some cases, you will see a gas station add charging ports, and that makes a lot of sense. A lot of truck stops we're working with are also doing the same. But it's important to remember that, frankly, charging a car has more in common with charging your phone than it does filling up a car with gas. And what I mean by that is that many more Americans will be doing it at home or at work. That's what makes it easier. But it also takes longer than a couple minutes. That's what makes it harder. And so the right locations for EV chargers will not necessarily be the same as the right locations for gas stations. That's exactly why we are funding state and community visions for where to put these chargers, whether it's out across our highway network or whether it's in communities like this $6 million is going to help make possible. You've already got a great community charging network in the Atlanta region. Frankly, it's ahead of most other places in the country, but it needs to grow, and we're helping fund that with these federal dollars.
As you know, a big challenge is rural parts of the United States. I mean, in our state, if you want to go from Atlanta all the way down to the southern coast, the southerlymost coast, I mean, you're pretty much out of range. You've pushed the range to the limit. And that's been a deterrence, not just in Georgia, but across the country for those folks who say, EV sounds good, but it's not quite there yet on the range. What are your thoughts there?
Well, I think that's why these chargers are so important. Look, one way of looking at it is nobody will benefit more from EVs than rural drivers who drive more miles, because the more miles you drive, the more money you save when you're using electricity instead of gas or diesel. On the other hand, you've got to know that there's going to be charging when you need it, just as sure as you generally know when you set out on a road trip that there's going to be gas stations along the way. So if you're routinely driving in a way that is going to dry up the range of a 2, 3, or 400-mile vehicle, and some drivers do with your daily routine or with your work, we got to make sure we're supporting that. That's why, in addition to charging in communities and urban areas, we're supporting states with a vision to make sure that there are chargers available at least every 50 miles along America's highway networks, so that you don't have to ask that question. We're not there yet, but the president's vision is to have 500,000 chargers around the country by the end of this decade, which we're going to need if we meet the president's other goal, which is to have about half of our new auto sales be electric by the end of the decade.
All right, Secretary Pete Buttigieg, we appreciate your time today on this topic that we find particularly interesting here in Georgia. Thank you.
Same here. Great speaking with you. Take care.